This is the second technical podcast in the new location because we recorded this once before and the file got corrupted. So here we are again. Yeah.
In my mouth.
Eat the fucking microphone. Yeah, so we are about to open in our new location at 525 Main Street, Covington, Kentucky.
Yay.
I just picked up some really cool shit.
Really cool shit.
That will be in this store. I will tell you, I posted a video on Instagram like yesterday evening, and someone's already trying to pick some of it up.
Well, did you know that Jeff Beck and...
Oh, yeah, I got a shirt of this band called the New Barbarians. That's like Jeff Beck and Ronnie Wood and Keith Richards getting hammered and playing Stone songs.
Yeah, and it looks like an old metal shirt.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's so cool.
It has like a scary monster on it, but it's just those guys playing Stone songs kind of bad.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I'm a big fan of that shirt, but there's some Metallica. There's a Cinderella shirt.
That's the best Metallica shirt I've ever seen.
It's a Cinderella shirt. The front says Cinderella, has the guys on it, and the back says whatever the album is or tour, but that's crossed out.
Yeah.
And then below it is just written Metallica, which is awesome.
And this is back from when Metallica was still awesome.
Yeah, like this would have been like 80s Metallica.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
When they were like a thrash metal band.
Yeah.
And not like old band.
And some angry teen was like, fuck this band,
I
man.
hate Cinderella.
Fuck Cinderella.
I like Metallica. Yeah, dude, it's fucking sick.
Had taste, that kid.
Anyway, we got a bunch of really cool stuff. We'll be open at some point next week. It might be Wednesday. It might be Friday. Just keep a lookout for that.
We got cups.
We have cups.
Koozies.
Tote bags, koozies. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the Son of Sam.
The Sons of Sam.
The Sons of Sam. But before I do that, I will say I'm reading a book on the SLA, the Symbionese Liberation Army, and that'll come up later. A lot of real fuck shit with that.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to cover.
Okay. I think we left off last time going through
your last time, not our last time.
Yeah, because we already did all this.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will be better. I don't know. We went through the crimes that did take place in the Son of Sam 44 caliber killings. I meant to say killings. I just fucked myself up. Now we got to get into, with that background, some of the goofy shit that went on. And I think the best way to do this is by starting with the letters that were left at the Sirianni Esau crime scene and also sent to Jimmy Breslin.
Okay.
These letters are full of clues, which is very odd, but they are. Okay, so we'll start with the first letter that was found. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I did previously. If you want to read the whole thing again, just look it up. They're very, very available. But I am going to read parts of it. So the first letter that was left at the Esau Sirianni killing, it has a line in it that, first introduces I am the Son of Sam. Before that, it was solely referred to as the 44 caliber killing.
Right.
Or killer. And also pretty up until very recently before that, they didn't know they were connected. Now, the letter begins with, when Father Sam gets drunk, he gets mean, he beats his family. Sometimes he ties me up in the back of the house. Sam loves to drink blood, go out and kill, commands Father Sam. Okay. So with that...
That's weird.
David Berkowitz's dad was not named Sam. But somebody else's
There was another family, the Carrs.
Whose dad was named Sam.
Yeah, Papa Sam Carr.
And now, if you've seen the movie Summer of Sam, Spike Lee joint, it is a great movie.
It's a great movie. It's a weird one.
It gets the Son of Sam stuff, like the facts of the case, pretty incorrect.
Right.
But like the general anxieties of the place and time.
It shows that pretty good.
It does. It's a great movie. But if you've seen that movie, there's... the dog barking at Berkowitz, and at one point he yells at an old man who owns the dog. That's Sam Carr. And in the movie, Sam Carr is not important. And in real life,
he's very important.
Is. So Sam Carr has 3 kids. What are their names?
John, Michael, and
Wheat.
Yeah.
This one's a weird one.
That is a strange name. But that takes us to
Well, hang on, we'll get there.
Okay.
Now, why are the cars important? So the buildings in Yonkers that Berkowitz and the Carr family lived in were right next to each other.
Okay.
So, we have proximity of these people at this exact time. Now, it goes into behind our house some rest, mostly young, raped and slaughtered, their blood drained, just bones now. Behind the house is important. That clue gets picked up in the second letter more. So we'll come back to
Okay,
that.
we'll come back to that.
We'll come back to the behind the house. 'Cause that's a whole other fucking thing.
Okay.
Now, we're finding the next thing. There we go. So, at one point in this letter, it says, I love to hunt, prowling the streets looking for fair game. That's pretty easy to pass up. Unless you have done some research into Scientology.
Bingo.
In which case, it is not easy to pass up.
That phrase sticks out to you if you've ever obsessively researched this space church.
Yeah, because fair game is an edict that was sent down from the old top of the chain.
Oh, LRH himself.
And his wife, Mary Sue,
Uh-huh.
that essentially said, you can do whatever you want.
Well, it was a license to murder.
It was a license to do whatever
Literally.
you want to silence or get rid of people who contradicted the church.
Right.
One of the most famous cases of this, Colleen Cooper, right?
Yeah.
Was
Well,
that was in the 80s. And this, by the way, they said they stopped fair game in like 1970, but
Yeah.
much like MK Ultra,
Right.
you can just lie
Yeah.
and say you're not doing something anymore.
They do that a lot.
Colleen Cooper put out the biggest first expose book on what Scientology was.
Yeah. What was it
And-
called?
I can't remember.
It was like the Scandal of Scientology. Or
That
something.
might be it. We got her name. And for basically the next 10 years, they were trying to discredit her, get her committed to insane asylums.
They sent
bankrupt
bomb
her,
threats in her name.
Yeah.
They did fucked up shit.
a bunch of stuff like that. Now, fair game, essentially the people that are targeted under that edict are what's known as suppressive people.
Yep.
Suppressive
SPs.
people. Yeah, SPs. SPs are people that go against Scientology. There's also suppressive, like organizations.
Oh yeah.
And if you look at a list put out by the church right after the Manson stuff, you see the Process and the Church of Satan on there, which is odd
Mhm.
because basically the organizations they were listing were splinter groups that were now a problem.
Right.
The Process is pretty clear. The Church of Satan one is interesting.
Yeah, Dana has a theory that they're like the holy trinity of
Yeah.
all this: the Church of Satan, Scientology, and Process.
Now, with the Process, which is again based in Scientology, instead of an E meter, it's a P meter.
Right.
They have a
Pretty much the
it's the
same.
they have a thing called the Gray Forces.
Yeah.
The Gray Forces are suppressive people. It's the exact same thing. Don't think of it any other way.
Yep.
So now, that phrase "looking for fair game" to me becomes significantly more important because that drops direct Scientology phrasing.
Exactly. Which would be interesting, but is there any other connection?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the next letter will drop us off with significantly more clues. This is an introduction to the whole thing. But it is important to note that these letters are written in the style of like a cartoonist. They do not match Berkowitz's handwriting.
But they do match the handwriting of a cartoonist.
They do match the handwriting of a cartoonist and design person. And I will say that Michael Carr,
Also,
Sam Carr's son, who was a Scientologist,
yes, very much so.
very much so, and a design and cartoonist. So, that's something. The guy who's writing about being inside Father Sam's house is his son, maybe? I don't know.
Mm.
Anyway, the second letter, which was sent to Jimmy Breslin. Jimmy Breslin was also a big proponent of the single shooter,
Okay.
and almost played Popeye Doyle.
Jimmy Breslin, again, was who? The reporter or the cop?
He was a reporter.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
he was a reporter for the Times. Like he was New York City's Herb Cain.
All right.
If you don't know who Herb Cain is, sorry.
That's an easy look up.
But Jimmy Breslin also almost played Popeye Doyle in The French Connection.
Yes.
To the point where like he was cast and showed up for a week and was just hammered. And it's better that it was Gene Hackman.
It's better that it was
than
Gene
fat
Hackman.
reporter Jimmy Breslin.
Yeah. Drunk, fat reporter Jimmy Breslin.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Hackman's better. But the second letter starts off with "Hello from the gutters of NYC, which are filled with dog manure, vomit, stale urine, wine, urine, and blood." Okay. The gutters. And again, we should preface where we're getting a lot of this information from. So, much like with the Manson case and Ed Sanders,
Yes.
there's a guy named Maury Terry who did extensive fucking research
Mm-hmm.
on the Son of Sam killings.
And he was a journalist.
He was a journalist, and Ed's stuff was a much shorter time period that he was researching it and
Yeah.
put it into a book.
Also, Ed didn't let it destroy him.
No, Ed's still around.
Ed's a good guy. We love Ed.
It did destroy Maury Terry.
It did, sadly.
There's a very interesting documentary on Netflix.
Wasn't
about
that a bit
this.
of a hit job?
That's where we're gonna say interesting.
Yeah.
That does lead to discredit Maury Terry at points while also giving you the factual information that he provided. It's very odd.
I love when they do that. Where
know
they're
how to
like,
do
yeah,
that.
here you go. But if you put 2 and 2 together, then you're crazy.
Yeah. And, you know, there's some stuff about the guy that made it and his connections. But Maury Terry, and I want to talk, because like, a lot of times there's 3 people that if you're into this shit come up a lot.
Mm.
And it is Ed, and it is Maury, and then it's also Dave McGowan of Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon and Program to Kill. And I have more faith in Maury Terry and Ed Sanders than I do in Dave McGowan.
Yeah.
Like, I like his books.
Yeah.
But, again, at one point in Program to Kill, he says that Manson tried out to be in the Monkees. And, like,
But he didn't.
of course not. They cast that in
Yeah.
1967 when he was in fucking prison.
Yeah.
And that's, like, really easy.
Yeah.
You know, so it kind of leads you to be like, what else, bud? Like, and he does this whole thing with Bobby Fuller where, you know, talks about his murder, sorry, his, quote, suicide, and how he was, like, you know, covered in gasoline and beat up in his
Yeah,
own
he
car.
had ingested gasoline. His fist was broken and shit.
No, he had
right?
not ingested gasoline. That was the weird part.
Oh, okay.
Because if you were alive when you were covered in gasoline, it would have gone into, like, your nose and shit,
Okay.
and it didn't.
Oh,
So he
okay.
poured gasoline on himself after he was dead.
Oh, right.
Bobby
right.
Fuller was a musician from Texas who moved out to L.A. And the thing with that is Dave McGowan, like, kind of phrases it in a way of, like, all these weird kind of cult killings and CIA killings going on. And that was clearly a mob hit. He was trying to move off his label owned by a mob guy who was known to fucking kill people
Okay.
and make his own label. It was a mob hit. And Bobby
Okay.
Fuller was their biggest selling artist.
You
so-
did. I fought the law, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was I Fought the Law, the Clash song. It's a Bobby Fuller song.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know, Dave also presents a lot of his evidence where he'll just say things that are true, you know, and then be like, "Isn't that weird?"
Right.
And like, yeah, man, it is weird. But like, with Ed and Maury, they'll be like, "Here's all these things that make this weird because of X."
Right, and having since this is what started it all, but having since come across a lot of like journalists like Whitney Webb and Nick Bryant and stuff like that are also saying some pretty outrageous shit, but also have sources for everything, and it's very documented. It's a different tier of journalism, I think, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth discrediting Dave's
No,
stuff.
Dave McGowan's stuff is very interesting,
Yeah.
and I do think he's driving in the right direction.
Right. I would, with everybody, I'd resist sort of accepting their framing without examination.
Right, and it's to me it's important to note here with Maury Terry, he later, if you read his book The Ultimate Evil, it's a great book,
It's a great book.
and you can kind of see him throughout the book, kind of begging for an answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
The Manson 2 thing is
Yeah, because there's a
example of
guy
that.
referenced that we'll get into this significantly more in another episode. That's Manson 2, who was supposedly someone involved with Charles Manson.
He's
who's
trying to
now-
make it fit.
Yeah, who's now working with, you know, the cult that Berkowitz was part of, and he's being brought in to commit some of these murders, and he finds a guy that he says is Manson too, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like, that guy sure is a shit guy.
Right.
But there's never he like forces like this guy is him.
Yeah, he makes the surrounding facts sort of fit that thing, which is, if you research any of this stuff, you know is sort of dangerous territory for the truth.
Yeah. Whereas if I had to list the people that I trust in order,
Right.
Ed Sanders, I'm like, whatever you're saying, I believe. Like, essentially, it was right then. He was with all the people.
Yeah.
It's all backed up. With Maury Terry, I'm like 90% of it, because again, like it is. If you go to a site, The People versus David Berkowitz, it has thousands and thousands of pages of Maury Terry's notes, and then also police reports and FBI file and all this shit. That
It's
is
not
his
shit he's
evidence,
making
and
up.
like private investigators and it is very, very well researched over the course of 30 fucking years, basically, by the time he died. But sometimes I think towards the end he gets a little, I need this to work or my life has been useless.
Exactly. Which is a realistic threat for anybody who devotes their life to this shit.
But also, I would have argued to him, it's not, you don't need that to fit. You already uncovered a vast majority of this that nobody was in on.
I think the problem is there's just a bit of rigor that's obviously missing. Like I mentioned, Nick Bryant, he didn't mention in the Franklin scandal like all the satanic ritual stuff, because he had like testimonial corroboration for that, but he didn't have like hard enough proof to bring it up. So he references like, this is what was said,
right?
But where all the other stuff is pretty fucking documented,
right? And again, it always becomes harder with the quote-unquote satanic worshipping,
right,
to document it,
right.
Like it's pretty rare that you're going to find the smoking gun.
Well, he does mention Michael Aquino comes up a few times.
Michael Aquino is an interesting fella.
There is some documentation with him,
but he's a military guy.
He's protected,
and you're gonna find more documentation on military people than you will on just some fucking hippie,
right?
Right. Okay, back to the letters. Hello from the gutters.
Yes.
So, the gutters, it seems like we're just, and in the context, he's, saying then hello from the sewers, hello from the cracks in the sidewalk.
But these words are important.
The gutters is specifically important.
Yeah.
Where this was discovered by a teenager who lived in the same neighborhood in Yonkers.
Had the same lingo.
Yeah, the gutters referred to an aqueduct that went out from the back of the car house or apartment building. And if you followed it a mile, you'd end up in a place called Untermyer Park.
Yep.
If you look up pictures of Untermyer Park, it looks like a very nice park. If you then add Devil's Cave, it looks like a significantly less nice park.
It's pretty grisly. It's like the picture from the Satanic Panic shit. It's like, here's what they show you. You've probably seen the picture.
Give it a little look real quick, because we obviously can't show you, but I do think it helps to see it. Untermyer Park was documented and then consistently documented after they started looking into it as being a place of meeting for cult rituals.
Yep.
Like cops were shot at. There's a lot of testimony of people saying they saw people in robes and dogs and all this shit. But also, if you go back into the gutters, out back the old Carr family home, you find a lot of dead, sometimes skinned, German Shepherds.
Yep. A lot. Which is very process.
Are they into German Shepherds?
They're very into German Shepherds.
They're very into German Shepherds.
Like, that's a key part of their thing.
Yeah.
Take of that what you will.
The process is also borderline in on the whole Nazi imagery.
Oh, right, yeah.
And German Shepherds are a part of that.
Yeah, they love the fascist aesthetic.
And I will say, Berkowitz was trying to get a German Shepherd in the weeks leading up to his arrest.
He worked at one of the shelters, right? Or was that someone else?
No, someone else worked at a shelter, but he was like calling a shelter in Yonkers trying to get a German Shepherd to adopt.
Yes. God.
In the weeks leading up to his arrest.
Good memory, Sam.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I knew it was connected.
Now, if we move on from Untermyer Park, this leads us to a line that says... Also, I love this line. This doesn't have any clues. It's just weird. You can forget about me if you like because I don't care for publicity. Yeah, you do. You're leaving letters and sending them to the main guy that writes articles in New York.
You're dropping clues.
Okay. However, you must not forget Donna Lauria.
And that was the first...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's odd to reference by this point, there's been multiple shootings, and you're referencing the first one.
Yeah.
So Donna Loria was, you'll find important. Donna Loria was an 18-year-old girl who was killed on her front steps, and I'm scrolling down because I have significantly more information on Donna Loria. Okay, there's a theory that people have floated that some of these hits were on purpose and other ones were distractions. Donna Loria is one of them. We're about to get into that. Christine Freund is another one.
Yep.
And that's one that Terry claims Manson 2 was involved in. But Christine Freund, just very quickly, was... The theory there is less hard than the one on Donna Loria, but
Okay.
she was seemingly killed because her fiance was involved with the wife of someone either in the cult or on the outskirts of the cult, and it was a
right.
message to him. But she was clearly stalked. Like, she was called in the weeks leading up to
Yeah,
her
she was being harassed and stuff.
murder. They were followed that entire night from the movie to the car, all this shit. At one point, she gets out of the car. He goes to park the car. A car that's following them doesn't see her get out. They roll up on him. A guy gets out, sees it's only him, gets back in the car and leaves because he's not the target. He also doesn't get shot.
That's pretty, yeah.
Because if you're trying to send a message, you don't want to kill the guy you're trying to send the message to.
Yeah, that would have been a
There's
mistake.
no point in that message there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we get back to Donna Loria. I'm going to read from actual police files, and they're hard to read because they're old and they're scanned. So, sorry if I'm pausing.
They're scanned a number of times.
Yeah, they're scanned multiple times here. Okay. So, on June 5th, 1977, Detective Banteri and Murray interviewed a woman named Susan Jennings, who's a 24-year-old who lives in the Bronx, close by to Donna Loria. She stated that she had known Donna Loria and, on occasions, associated with her. Susan stated that about 5 years ago, Donna had received a friendship ring from a boy. Boy is a loose term for this fucking guy.
This fucking adult man.
She
creep.
only knew as Crazy Vinny. And then Donna had returned the ring to him after about a year. It upset Vinny, and Susan said that she heard Vinny had enrolled in St. John's University. And then she looked at a composite of the .44 caliber killer for the Donna Loria shooting, because all those shooting witness statements look wildly fucking different.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, that looks a lot like Vinny. Now, Vinny does also look like David Berkowitz. I will say that. Like,
Yeah.
if you're drawing both these guys as a police sketch artist, they're going to come out about the fucking same.
Yeah, a little.
They both have curly hair. They're both kind of chubby.
Yeah.
It's a similar looking person.
Neither has a striking jawline.
Yeah. Then Susan Jennings stated she had lost trace of Donna and Vinny until about 2 years ago. She asked Donna if she was still going with Vinny, and Donna remarked that she was not, but he's still following her wherever she goes on a date.
Oh, really? Crazy Vinny is?
Now, another statement, this is from 1976, so this is before the previous statement,
Right.
where they are referencing a girl named Susie, pretty clearly Susan Jennings, who's later identified, obviously.
Yeah.
She said that somebody told her that Vinny had stated Donna has 1 week left to live. And then another woman, Carol, last name I can't read, were at Peachtree, which I assume is a bar or disco with Donna, and she said, there is going to be trouble, let's get out of here. Vinny was also seen drinking at the funeral parlor outside of where Donna's body was. Okay, Vinny. Now, Vinny is a guy named Vinny Minutella, who is significantly older than Donna Loria, who was 18 when she was shot, 13 when she started hanging out with him.
Ew.
And it is important here because in 1996,
Yes.
David Berkowitz, who's not really a talker, not a straight talker, he is a talker.
He's just, yeah.
Just straight up sent a letter to Maury Terry that said these are the people involved in this.
These are the cult people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I found these things separately, and I found this letter, and I was like, I swear to fucking God.
Yep.
And I looked, and guess who's on here? Vincent Munatella.
Vincent Munatella.
So,
Along with all the cars and the girlfriend of the cars.
yeah, the constant references
process affiliates.
to Donna Lauria. Yeah, there's a whole section. We'll get to all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We'll come back to this letter. There's a whole section of this fucking letter of Jimmy Breslin that directly references you can't forget Donna Lauria. And then the guy that she's been seeing who's obsessed with her and possibly trying to kill her is involved in the
Part
cult.
of the cult.
That's odd.
And in the same letter that says the gutters, which are clearly a specific location.
Yes. So
Interesting.
that's a little fucking weird. Now we're gonna end with on this letter. We're gonna end this letter with again. He does repeat a second time. Remember Miss Lauria.
Right.
Um,
He's clear
now-
about that.
And then he says, "Here are some names to help you along the way: the Duke of Death, the Wicked King Wicker, the 22 Disciples of Hell, and John Wheaties, rapist and suffocator of young girls." Okay, so John Wheaties is pretty easy to figure out. That's John Carr.
Yeah.
Sam Carr's son, Michael Carr's brother. John Carr was nicknamed Wheaties because his sister is named Wheat, and they were listed together in the phone books. People started
Yep.
calling him Wheaties.
Yep.
We will come back to the Carrs in a later episode.
They're important.
They're pivotal to this whole fucking thing.
Yes.
Um,
Not to the case against David Berkowitz.
no, it actually. And here's the thing I'll bring up about Berkowitz talking using prison cutouts and informants.
Mm.
If we ever reference someone else named Vinny or Danny, it is a conglomeration of various prison informants.
Right. Those are
that
that's
work
what
with Maury Terry.
Yeah.
But Berkowitz admitted outright pretty quickly to being like, no, I definitely did shoot two of them. He's not
Yeah.
trying to get off on the charges.
Right. Yeah. He's not trying to get out of prison necessarily.
He's never asking for parole or retrial or any of the stuff,
Yeah.
which is an interesting thing to note because most of the time people are like, I'll snitch.
I've got new information that will help me get out of this place.
Right. He's not like, I didn't do them. He's like, I did two of them and I was at all of them, but other people were involved.
Right.
um,
Which is obviously true.
yeah. Also, look up the police sketches and you'll be like, those are wildly fucking different people.
Well, especially and look up the descriptions too, because the whole like, this person had a pillow under his shirt this
yeah,
time, and he
'cause,
had
like,
a
there was
wig
fat
on this
guy in a
time,
wig
and then he
and much shorter and much taller, and
it's like, or there was
one of them also looks exactly like John Carr.
right.
Like, it's clearly John Carr.
Yeah.
He's a pretty individual. Do a little Google search on John Carr and then look at the fucking sketches, and you'll be like, oh, that's the same guy.
You also look into those eyes and say like, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
It's an evil bastard.
Okay. So now the other people, Wicked King Wicker and Duke of Death, were not figured out.
Okay.
There's some arguments to who they are. I don't want to necessarily get into that because it's not clear.
Yeah.
Not as clear as the John Carr one. Now, the 22 Disciples of Hell is clear.
That seems pretty much the cult.
There was 22 main members of this cult, and interestingly enough, it was pretty evenly split between men and women, which is not wildly common for these type of cults.
It's the process.
It is for the process, and it is for the Manson family, which isn't evenly split. It's way more women.
And
But
the space church.
yeah, many murder cults of this size, or murder groups, whatever you want to call it, are predominantly men.
Mm-hmm.
There is a number that aren't, and a lot of them seem to be connected. And we will circle back to why women are important to the operation, but they are pivotally important to the process operation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we have the end of this letter, which says, here's some more information, basically. Keep them, this is all quote, keep them digging, drive on, think positive, get off your butts, knock on coffins, etc. Okay. Now, Maury Terry deciphered this as a code, which seems pretty solid. I'm not again, he can also shove things into work, but
Right.
this is still worthwhile because it does get pretty close. Okay, so we're going to start with keep 'em digging. He decided this meant that keep 'em digging meant, peek me or see me digging, which is symbolic for digs, which means living quarters. So it's kind of like see where I live, see me at home.
Peep me digs.
Yeah. And so see me at home, which does end up to be 35 Pine Street. Now drive on. 35 Pine Street is in Yonkers, and that is north of the place where everyone is investigating because they're looking at Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx. So drive on. On is a reverse for north, so he's stating that, on basically means drive north to find me.
I've always thought that like some of this code breaking stuff was a little bit of a stretch, but I also understand that like the more you're into like the world of code breaking, a lot of this stuff does make more sense.
It does, yeah.
You know.
People do reverse stuff. People use other slang, all this kind of shit, and I think it's worth noting. It's worth coming up with and saying that this is a code that he thought he broke. Maybe he did.
Yeah, and even if all of this isn't accurate, then I mean some of it is. The knock on coffins and
yeah,
you know.
And then we have think positive, which means. Okay, hang on, because I'm reading the description because I couldn't find it in the fucking book. Think positive was an indicator for directions because positive converts to a plus sign. And this would mean the perpetrator was telling investigators to think about what was stated previously and that what he stated was directional. Okay. That one seems like a little bit of a stretch. Get off your butts. Terry argued that butts converted to ashes due to cigarette symbolism, which was previously in the letter. And Ashburton is a prominent street in Yonkers. It is near Pine. So he's stating that it's like basically get off of Ash onto Pine, which is followed up with knock on coffins, which does say, again, like get off when you're on Ashburton Street, get off and you go to Pine Street, and that's where I am.
Right. And they were already looking for him too, so these weren't like directions; these were just hints at like the directions.
Right. And it is important to note as well that I wish this was after the shooting of Stacy Moskowitz, but it was not, because that shooting turned Berkowitz into a fall guy. And that would make a lot more sense if they were trying to point them to Berkowitz after the shooting as opposed to before. I don't know why they're leaving all these fucking clues in here, because some of these are really clear. Like the other ones I believe are much clearer than the knock on coffins, etc.
Right.
And Maury Terry in the book really does make you be like, yeah, man. But then when you kind of sit back, like, I just didn't think about it, you're like, I don't know.
when you're sitting with it for a long time,
you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Berkowitz got a parking ticket on the night of the Moskowitz Violante shooting. And so that placed him in the location, which is not near his house. And he left the area and came back and very clearly could not have been the shooter based on the timelines.
Right.
But it did turn him into a convenient fall guy for the crimes, because I believe that the group was like, well, this is getting pretty hot now. They have connected that these are all related.
Yeah.
They have sketches of a lot of us. And the
Time
the
to
fact
offer
that they
up
have
a guy.
the fact they have sketches of a lot of them are important too. It's not just a sketch of one guy. Like there's identifiable people that can be, if you find out John Carr and Berkowitz are friends, and you look at the fucking sketch and go, well, that's goddamn John Carr.
Right, and that gets into the cops like disregarding evidence because they needed to support their case.
When they arrested Berkowitz that night, he was interrogated for not all that long, and told a story where he was the only shooter. None of the stuff lines up. He's being like, I got on a bus, and then I ran, and then I circled back, and like he has to make up reasons as to why he's in multiple places at one time.
Yeah.
And the cops are like, cool, we need to win.
That works.
Because Abe Beam was coming up for re-election against Ed Koch, and New York was going to absolute fucking dog shit.
And they needed to win. And
he lost the election anyway. Yeah. And Ed Koch was actually the guy that started to turn New York around from being complete fucking dog shit. One of his first things, this is just a fact I like, is that he made all of the subways be cleaned of graffiti every night. And it actually helped. Like a lot.
That part did.
Yeah,
a lot of Ed Koch stuff has been debunked since then.
but that part helped a lot. I'm saying like that.
That part helps.
Because if you clean up, because people treat bad places like shit, people treat nice places better.
It's true, but that's part of a complicated study that has been attacked since the broken windows theory has been.
I mean, dude, I've seen it. Like, if you go over to that old part where the store was,
I know. But
people treat that like shit and this like nice.
But I wouldn't highlight Ed Koch as a
Ed Koch.
Ed Koch.
Was that a Freudian slip?
Yeah, Ed Koch as like a victory of policing, because it was very much not.
Well, no, but the
It
other
only
thing,
hurt poor people, and it was bad.
the other thing with the police in general, in this case, and the DAs, is that there was exactly one DA who was interested in any of this,
Right.
and that was Santucci from the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was a little bit hamstrung. That's
Right.
a phrase. Because as a DA of the Bronx, he can only deal with things that happened in the Bronx.
Right.
So, Maury Terry...
And there was not a lot of department sharing,
No. Like, New York City's 5 different cities, and they don't fucking talk to each other.
which is stupid for if you wanted to solve crime.
Yeah. Now, Santucci pretty instantly knew that it was not one killer, and he
Right.
knew that it was going to be tried as one killer and not be tried in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
But he was open throughout the entire investigation that Maury Terry was doing, along with various other people, to all their information. They were feeding it to Santucci.
Right.
And he kept having to be like, man, that's great. That Moskowitz Violante shooting, you sure got a lot of stuff on that. That wasn't here, though.
Right.
So I can't do anything with it. Can you bring me something that happened here?
Right.
And they kind of never could. They could never bring the fucking... Like, that one's the clearest example of like a conspiracy, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And it did not happen in the Bronx. So Santucci couldn't try it. He couldn't really look into it. And that's a shame, because he was the only DA interested in doing any of that.
It's weird that they didn't help him get to the truth and solve the crime.
Yeah.
Strange.
So now, we're looking at a situation where there's clearly multiple people involved.
Clearly.
And throughout the next, 30 years, more and more people come to light. We're going to end up out in Hollywood. We're going to end up with Cocaine Bob Evans.
Oh, I love it when Cocaine Bob Evans shows up.
Interesting thing about Cocaine Bob Evans is apparently he was supposed to be at the old Cielo Drive house.
He was.
But also, there's the old thing of if everyone that was supposed to be at Cielo Drive was at Cielo Drive, yeah.
The place would have collapsed.
Because everyone alive in and around Los Angeles was supposed to be at Cielo Drive that night.
But Cocaine Bob Evans probably was.
It does. He has significantly more evidence as to having really supposed to be there. But he's going to show back up in this. By the time we get to like the 80s, the cocaine 80s, following the cocaine 70s, we had like 20 years of heavy cocaine use.
Thanks, CIA.
And Dennis Hopper.
And Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, because, Easy Rider brought cocaine to the counterculture pretty heavily.
That's true. But the CIA brought it into the country and pumped it into the cities.
Yeah, no, and was Dennis Hopper... I have like a vague theory I have no backup for, that Dennis Hopper was an MK Ultra guy.
Yeah.
Partially because he was already a little bit unstable, but normal enough. And then he went fucking crazy.
He went crazy.
Like, wildly fucking crazy.
And there's a history.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah. And he falls into some company with that.
But at the same time, like, doesn't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very odd. He has a whole weird trajectory. But like, there's a book on him and Brooke Hayward, who is married to, who is part of the Fonda family. That it takes place between like 62 and 68, when they were married, and like 1964, they're hanging out. It's cool. They're going to art shows, and he's a normal dude.
He's not like a rampaging monster.
And in 1968, he is fucking insane. And it's all because of, I believe, the drug use that he was involved in, mixed with his general megalomania.
There was that too, yeah.
He was primed for it, but I'm just saying, if I'm a guy looking for someone, and I find out Dennis Hopper exists, I'm gonna be interested.
He's a good
in
candidate.
That guy. He's a great candidate for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's Cocaine Bob's gonna come back up, and we're gonna get more into what happened to a variety of these people
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of them were alive in 1977
We're gonna
and
go to-
dead by 1979.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Montana,
North Dakota.
North Dakota. Damn.
We're gonna go to Stanford.
Definitely, always go to Stanford. Something
Uh,
always happens at Stanford.
Some weird shit that goes down there, and it's just this is another case like the Manson case. I didn't give a shit about Son of Sam at all until I found out that it was not the thing.
Yeah, me
You
too.
know, like this is why I'm beginning to be interested in John Wayne Gacy,
Uh-huh.
because there's some stuff there where there's significantly more people involved.
Yeah, those lone wolf and they aren't as much, are they?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of them are. Like Ed Kemper is a good one. He was just a crazy guy.
Yeah, I'm not
Ed
saying
Gein
they don't
was a crazy
exist.
guy. Dahmer, like a
Yeah.
lot of these people were just and I don't care about that. It's just dark and weird and gross. If it's gonna be dark and weird and gross, I need it to be like rock and roll and conspiracies,
Or just something that our government created.
or a different organization.
Yeah, or a different organization.
And like I said earlier, like the SLA stuff is gonna get
It's more institutional than lone wolf.
The
than
SLA
you
stuff
think.
is entirely institutional.
Yeah.
Significantly more than the Son of Sam stuff is. I don't believe the Son of Sam stuff has anything to fucking do with the government. I think the Manson stuff has some stuff to do with it, but not to the extent Tom O'Neill says it does.
Right.
Again, Tom O'Neill. There's a thing the old church does that's called Operation Rawhide. Operation Rawhide is misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty heavily misinformation about the Manson stuff.
It was deeply involved.
And, you know, they still keep tabs on public opinion of that,
Oh, absolutely.
which is a weird thing to do for something you're not involved in.
yeah,
you know?
that comes up a lot.
I don't think the Mormons are keeping tabs on the Manson stuff. Do you?
I don't know. There's a lot of weird shit that comes out of Utah.
There is. But again, we're going to end up back in Utah as well.
Yep.
But not with the Mormons. The Mormons are just kooky, you know? Like, they got weird shit, but it's...
I don't know. Every institution I've come across seems to be pretty sinister.
Yeah. But the Jesuits are somewhere in here.
Yeah.
I still haven't fully figured that angle out yet. When I do, I'll let you know. But yeah, also, there's a new thing that came out. 2 new things that came out on the Manson stuff. Seems like every couple years we get a fucking push on the Manson stuff. You know, when the Tom O'Neill book came out, it was like, oh, Manson's back. Every fucking 10 years we get this.
To sell books.
Which is fascinating because it happened at this point like 60 fucking years ago. You know, we don't get every 10 years, not everyone freaks out about Jim Jones, you know. But Tom O'Neill's book came out. Now he's in front of Congress talking to that one lady who came up in Turning Point. I just forgot her fucking name.
Luna.
Yeah, Luna.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, cool. We have a Turning Point lady questioning a guy whose researchers are involved in the Son of Sam.
I bet
Scientology
everything's
shit.
gonna come to light.
Yeah. Oh, it was MK Ultra. It was MK Ultra. It was no, man. It was a lot of it. I mean, it was a little MK Ultra. I'm not saying it wasn't, but it was.
It's never one.
I think it was more COINTELPRO than it was like MK Ultra.
Yeah, and it's never one scapegoat. And
Yeah.
if the official story is gratefully pointing to one solution, that's probably not it.
Right. But 2 things did just come out. One is this girl crying in a documentary that her grandfather's Charlie Manson.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I don't know. Get over it. If I found out my grandfather was Charlie Manson, I would make a fucking shirt and wear it every goddamn day that said, my grandfather's Charlie fucking Manson.
Well, you would.
I would not cry about it.
You would. I don't think that's an accurate representation of
People's response.
anything else.
And the other one is, it was another Manson in his own words thing came out.
Okay.
And it's painting the whole thing helter skelter, all that kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
And that one I think is more worthwhile to listen to because there is tapes of Manson talking. You can ignore all the other shit, but hearing if you get into this shit and listen to tapes of people back then talking that were involved, you'll hear clues, you'll find clues, you'll see what they're alluding to, and that can be worth your time. But again, it's just a general fucking. It's a hit job on public opinion. It's a psyop.
Yep.
Yeah. And my final thing I'll say is we're making some shirts. They're hilarious. And I had many people agree with me. I thought I was being insane.
I think you are.
No. So there's a Merle Haggard song where the chorus is, "I'm just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing." It's a great song. And we're going to have that with the Unabomber. That's going to be one. That one got a really good response. Manson was a little more split. I'm still going to run it. And then I made a Nixon one. I don't know if we'll do that. There's a David Koresh. I think that one's fun. So be on the lookout for those.
Yeah. Get one for your grandma.
Get one for your grandma. I'm sure she's in love with David Koresh.
Yeah.
Or she was part of the Manson, deal. Anyway, I gotta figure out a song to play at the end of this.
I got no ideas this one.
It'll be something. And we'll be back later.
There you go. Look forward to that.
smashing. Deadly desire under moment's silence, with the world in chains. Down in the bottom.